New for 2019.1, ARM now has an SE Definitions tab within the Protocol Description editor. This SE Definitions tab, and SE stands for Standard Evaluation, is used to plan and define specific standard evaluations and tasks to use within the study. It's a much simpler process than importing SEs from a file into the assessment data editor. To start, we click on the SE Definitions tab. Within this tab, we can choose from a pre-populated list of SEs that are now available, close to over 1,000 SEs that are known within the system. And also the SE, there's a preview which is available for each of the SEs. So therefore, you can search for SEs based upon using a filter, or you can, once you find an SE that you really like, you can add it to personal. The preview pane will show multiple columns that are available for that SE. As you can see, SE F055_C7 has multiple columns within that SE. If I select that SE, it will then put in the information that is already known. Information that is known for that SE will be italicized. There is the option to include additional information within that SE as you choose, and that will then follow through to the assessment data editor. The reason why the assessment timing is pink is because we can now assign the timings of that SE throughout the season. If I would like to perform this SE with the first assessment according to the trial schedule, I could then assign it for that assessment timing. If I would like to do this multiple timings, I could then use either a dash or a comma. So if I would like to utilize this SE from A9 through AB, which is a 9th through 11th assessment, according to the trial schedule, I would type in A9-AB. If I would like to include it also in AE, I could then include A9 through as my assessment timing. In a little bit, I'll show how it will then add it automatically to the assessment data editor. Please note that we are currently in a protocol. The way that we build these headers is slightly different within a protocol versus a trial. If I would like to add an additional SE, I then click on the Insert button in the Properties panel. I now have the ability to add an additional SE. If I would like to choose SE name F002, I then select it and I click OK. I can then also have this at a specific timing within the trial. If I would like to insert an SE from a file, I simply right-click and select that option. These are some known SEs that I have saved within my system. If I choose that, it will then go into the column that was already, or the last one that was then edited. Obviously, this was a mistake. I wanted the F003, so I'm going to display the master. I believe that's the one that I chose. I'm going to move that back, and I'm going to insert 1 so that I can now bring in my SE from file. I'm going to then set that assignment to A1 also. I can then, as I stated before, update the sample size. And I can fill that in as it's not italicized. To illustrate how this is building within the assessment editor, I'm going to split the screen. I'm going to split it horizontally, and I'm going to bring in the assessment data editor. As you can see, it is blank. What will happen once I click this Build Headers, the SEs that are defined within the SE Definitions tab will fill in for the assessment data editor. And I remind you that the F00055_C7 is a multiple column SE. It will create all of those columns for you. So I'm going to go ahead and build all of these headers. It states that it was built successfully and that all of these headers are then built based upon the assessment timing. So A1 would be first. So F003 is the SE. The crop gen file specificity is then 2. And then it puts in the first instance of the F005_C7 as A9, AA, and AB, and also AE. This is a convenient way of filling in the assessment data editor so that you can see the summary of the assessments that you would like to take in a minimized view within the SE Definitions tab. Also, within the assessment data editor, to select the SE to add, it will automatically populate the SEs that are available in the SE Definitions tab. Also with the preview pane to the right. If I would like to add a new one, I can either select from above. So if I select F3 and state OK, it will then populate within the assessment data editor. I can also bring in a new SE, and then I can then bring in from a file, or I can choose from my list. I can display my master list and bring in an additional SE and add that to my personal. I'm going to delete that one. Because essentially adding new would then add to this list, which is found within the SE Definitions tab. I can then insert from SE File if I would like to choose a different SE and a different timing. To build these headers, I can always update all of these headers by simply clicking on the Build Headers, and that will erase all previous headers with what is in the SE definition. Or I can then, if this is the only one that I want added, this SE named INSA do count plant. That is now available within my list. I can choose that, and that will then enter. If I do the build headers again, it's going to state that they already exist. Should I delete them? If you are okay with deleting all of the previous headers, you can click yes, or you can select no to update existing assessment headers. If I click yes, it will start from the very beginning and then enter those assessment headers in the correct order as they are assigned by the assessment timing. So now the A6 and that concludes the SE definitions and the new features for the 2019.1 and 2018.5 review.